I was amazed at some of the things that I learned. I was amazed at some of the things that I heard. I was amazed that people would take and go through what they went through trying to satisfy somebody else while leaving themselves totally empty, totally lost, totally left out, totally overlooked. Yet they were around people every day. I was amazed that some of the most beautiful people in the world are some of the most abused people in the world, some of the most lonely people in the world. They could have everything they want except for someone who totally understands them, someone that totally knew them, someone that totally accepted them and appreciated them for them. I learned a lot of things along this path. I learned that some people are trophies. Some people are loved for their ability to connect with others. Some are loved for their passion, which very few people have now. You have to be you no matter what. And I watch so many people change to accommodate other people. And yet, when you change to accommodate people, you're no longer you. So how can you enjoy your life when you're not you? It's amazing that people will go through beating, cheating, being misused and abused and everything else to try to accomplish a dream. But if you go through that, could that possibly be your dream? A dream is supposed to be something filled with love. I mean, a true life that is a dream for people, that is something that we're content with, something that we don't have to struggle with, something that we don't have to fight with in our minds. And yet so many people go through life living their so-called dream, except for they're being cheated on, they're being abused, they're being lied to. One thing that I learned along this journey is that I don't go by what people say. I don't care what you tell me. I go by what you do and how you treat me. A lot of my life, I was overlooked. I was misused and abused, and I knew something was wrong with that automatically. That's not something someone had to tell me. Our hearts tell us. Our minds tell us. We just choose not to listen to ourselves. This is our life. This is your life. It belongs to the person that has that life, no one else's. So why would you believe someone over yourself? Why would you confide in someone more than you do in yourself? People see in you what you see in yourself. Yet some people, they don't see anything in themselves. They won't say it, but they don't. And it's just the flat out truth. Along this journey, I've talked to a lot of people. I've dealt with a lot of people. And it's amazing how some people have no true love for themselves, yet search their whole lives for someone that will love them. You can't expect a person to love you when you don't first love yourself. Because whatever they show you, no matter what it is, you'll go for it. If you don't know what love is, how do you know what to look for? If you don't know what you haven't have, how do you know what you need? This journey is frustrating, it's confusing, but it can be easy. We make it hard. The only thing that separates us from having a great life, a good life, is our own free will. We know so much that our loud, screaming inner mind overspeaks that soft whisper of God's will. We have to sometimes just shut up, sit back, pray, and wait on that prayer to speak to us. Wait on God to actually answer the prayer. We try to control the prayer. We try to push the prayer. We try to make the prayer do what we want it to do, but that's not the way it works. We have to pray and ask God, what is it that I need to do, Lord? Show me what change I need to make. Is Jonathan wrong for my life? If Jonathan is wrong, Lord, help me move him out of my life. Or if Samantha is wrong, help move her out of my life. But we don't do that. We say, well, Lord, I know Samantha, Johnny ain't right, but I want to be with them, so Lord, change them. People seldom change. And when they do change, it's not because you want to change, it's because they want to change. Some people, what we have to realize is some people truly like where they are. They don't realize they're lost. That's one reason I named this book Lost Within Yourself. Sometimes we are in a place that we don't even know that we're in danger. We don't even realize that we run from people, we blame other people, we try to put everything that we go through on others when we don't realize that we are our own worst enemy. We, the inside of us, our inner us, is that part of us that will stop us from walking forward when we can have the best ideas of the world. We will cut ourselves short before we even get started. We'll do anything and everything for anybody else, but won't do nothing for ourselves. We'll do a little bit here, but then we look for that person that we can dump everything into. Once you dump everything that you have in your life into somebody else, you have nothing left for yourself. It's okay to love. It's okay to care. It's okay to want to share your life with somebody, but that's exactly what it is. Share. When you share, somebody gives you a part of them, you give them a part of you. Most people now, they don't get that part back. When we are people of destiny, when we are persons of destiny, we have to learn how to use some of what we got for ourselves. It's just like you feeding somebody. If you constantly feeding a person and they don't feed you back, you initially starve. Most relationships, whether friendships, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it, most people now, it's one-sided. Oh, girl, he fine. Bro, she tight. She's nice now. But she can't offer nothing and he can't offer nothing. In order for us to thrive, we have to first have that promise brought out of us that God first put in us. We don't realize that promise is hidden within us, and God has set it up to where that promise cannot be brought out unless we travel the path that he has for us to travel. Because outside of that path, we are not along the lines that he wants us to be on. When we outside of that line, the things God has set up for us, we can't run into. We have to notice that when you push away the positive, you automatically open the door for the negative. So when you outside of God's line, you're in the negative. Of course, you can live, but it's like having crumbs when God want to give you the whole cake. When you travel that line that God has for you to travel, you can get the cake, the whole cake, whatever flavor. But outside of that line, we can live. We can do okay. We can survive. But that's the difference between tolerating and living. Most people not just tolerate. How in the world can you go through life just going along? Is a person really that fine? Is the sex really that good? Is it really that much for you to throw away your life? You only have one. When you are with or around the right people, your life will change for the better. But when you're around the wrong people, your life will change for the worse. I've watched many people die. I've watched many people get sick. I've watched many people, and many gonna say, well, is that really because they was with another person? When you travel outside the lines that God has for you, God initially takes his hand off of you. Because God will show you, he will show you, he will show you, he will show you, and he will show you. But when you stop looking for the signs, you stop listening, you start paying attention. Well, I'm going to do what I want to do. If a person want to be with me, they're going to be with me. One thing that you cannot avoid in this life is change. When a lot of people say, well, is that truly of God? One thing about God is a just God. You got to realize that. And I'm no preacher. I'm no pastor. I just have a good connection with God, and I know where my blessings come from. That's simply all it is. And one thing, I learned how to listen. I was one of those people who knew it all. I was one of those people you couldn't tell anything. I was one of those people who I had my own idea of what my life, I wanted my life to be. After God sent me through what he sent me through, after all the heartbreaks and all the heartaches and all that I went through, God showed me one thing. We don't control our lives. God does. He allows us to live it. He allows us to tolerate during it. But we don't control our lives. And eventually we're going to do what God has planned for us to do, or we will die before our time. One thing that we have to learn to do that most people don't do now is listen. Everybody is so hard-headed that we can't listen. It's only when I started to listen that God truly opened my mind. Because that's when I finally found that line that God wanted me to walk on. And when I started walking on this line, things changed. I've had a wonderful, beautiful house. It was a dream house to me. And woke up one morning and God said, you got to let it go. I never understood that until God showed me. Sometimes I give you stuff to see how quickly you'll turn it loose. Because if you can truly listen to me, you can truly be blessed by me. That's the thing about life that we don't understand. We are constantly tested, which most of us fail. I've watched so many people live their life only a small percentage of the way. Yet now that I see them, they're older. They ain't got nothing to offer nobody. I mean, of course, there are things you can do for people. There's, of course, you can live. But the greatest part of your life you gave to somebody else who didn't even deserve it. I've seen people like this. And now they're living wishing they had it. Miserable. So I try to catch people who haven't thrown away the greatest part of their life yet, but they don't want to listen. They can't see it. They ain't praying hard enough. They ain't praying the right way. And people don't understand there is a certain way you have to pray. You have to be able to let God step into your life and do whatever he needs to be done. And say, Lord, if it's your will, I go along with it. But no, we don't do it. We say, well, Lord, that ain't what I want. That ain't what I just don't see it. I don't see it. But that's not the way it goes. That's not how life is. And we don't understand that. All the time that we've lived, all the things that we've seen, we ignore the parts that we need to be looking at the most. I realize that it's not about what we know. Because everybody, I already know. I know what I'm into. I know what I'm getting into. I already know. That ain't the part that gets you in life. The part that gets you in life is not what you know, it's what you don't know. That's the part that comes and gets you when you least expect it. People think money changes life. Oh, that's the answer to life. I get some money, I'm telling you, everything will be fine. That's the biggest life I ever heard one. Some of the most miserable people I ever met in my life were rich. They didn't know who to trust. Everybody say, well, if I had that money, I'd do it different. Everybody say that until they get there. Because everybody looks like the enemy once you got a little money. The thing about life is, you got to truly find what I call your soulmate. A soulmate, to me, my definition, is a person that genuinely connects, understands, knows where you've been, and can edify you. Someone who can be honest with you when they can't be honest with nobody else. Somebody who sees past your beauty or your sexiness. Somebody who truly connects with your spirit. Soulmate is a spiritual connection, which most folks don't have. We get connected in the physical. We get connected in those who talk. But we don't ever connect to the spirit. And all that other stuff is irrelevant without being connected with the spirit. That's when God showed me, you're going to run into three different type of people in this world. You got your talkers, your doers, and your lookers. I'm like, really? I said, well, what's the difference? He said, well, your lookers, of course, you already know what that is. That's them beautiful, sexy ones. That's them so fine dudes, you know what I'm saying, so-called. But they look so good, they ain't got to do no work. Most people going to give it to them. Most people going to give them what they want. They go to a job, they get promoted just because they look good. They can become a model or whatever, you know. They don't have to work hard because they so cute or so fine or so beautiful. That's not all, but large majority. But then you come to your talkers. Oh man, your talker, he ain't got to be cute, he ain't got to be fine, but he talks so good that he can talk anybody out of anything. Yet still, he ain't got to do no hard work. A talker will tell you whatever you want to hear, but that don't necessarily mean he's going to do it. You got to learn to watch out for them talkers, because those talkers are the worst ones. The lookers will get you, but the talkers will really get you. But the talkers and the lookers both to drain you before you know it. And then last of all, you come to the doer. The doer is often overlooked. The doer is the one people pay the least attention to. But that's all they know how to do is do. Because they don't have the looks and they ain't really a talker. But they can actually make things happen. If a looker come into your life, you can walk around and put them on your own. But he's going to cause so much frustration and chaos in your life that is it truly worth it? And at the end, a looker is never truly yours. A looker will always gain attention everywhere they go. But a talker ain't no better. One thing about a talker is you got a talker. A talker may be attractive. By his talking, by his looks, it might be, all right, he look good. You know what I'm saying? He can be a looker to a certain extent. But everywhere, a talker is so good at talking that that's all he know how to do. So everywhere he go, everybody he meet, he gonna be a talker to them too. Talkers always attract people too. But at the end of the day, I found that the most productive person, the one that can bring completion in your circle, the one that can show you, the one that can lead you, the one who can correct or help you correct a lot of your wrongs and a lot of your bad direction is the doer. The most overlooked, the most unappreciated person out there. Some people may say, well, I know I ain't no looker because I don't think I'm that beautiful. You don't know you're that beautiful, but you are beautiful. And some people will not see your inner you for your outer you. You have to look out for these people because they will trick you. They will manipulate you. And all of us look for the same thing in life. We just want to be appreciated. We want to be loved. We want to have something that's truly ours. You know what I mean? We want something that we can connect with and bond with. But you can't connect the bond with something that's not true. And a lot of us know that what we have is not true or what they have is not true, yet they will not let go. They fool themselves. A lot of us get lost in our own misconceptions when most of the things that we see is right in front of our eyes. Yet we don't look. Life is one big lesson. But if we learn to listen to the people that God has placed in our paths, the people that God has placed to help us, the people that God has placed to nurture us, we'll be okay. Yet we know so much. We got it all figured out to the point that we listen to the people that we don't need to listen to. Yet we ignore the people who truly care for us and truly love us and truly want to see us do better. Those are people that we ignore. I had to learn that. I did the same thing. I made the same mistakes. I see so many women out here with guys that don't even deserve 5 minutes of their time, but you can't get them to let them go to save their life. Yet that guy has nothing to offer. He can't connect with them emotionally. He can't connect with them spiritually. They may have kids. He can't even connect with their kids. Most people are what I call pretenders. The biggest mistake that I've seen women do is when a guy walks up, hey, what's up? I'm holler at you. What's good with you? You start having a conversation with him. He might be suave. He got a nice look, smell good. And first thing he want to know is, well, what you looking for in a man? Most women tell him. That man then becomes that perfect man for you because he knows exactly who to become. The biggest mistake I've seen women make. Most of the women that I've talked to, all of them have made the same mistake. They told a man exactly what to use on them and how to get them. And then when I talked to him, I'm like, well, I don't understand what happened. He was the perfect man when I met him. That's when I asked him, at what point did you tell him who to become? What do you mean? I said, did he ever ask you what you looking for in a man? Well, yeah. I mean, how else we going to get to know each other? I said, well, you told him the fake man to become. And their mouth dropped. Well, you know what I did? I think I did. Yeah, I know you did. Most people do. I've watched men do the same thing. They see a woman look good. Man, she's sexy. Ooh, she got a good job. She ain't got but one kid, or she ain't got no kids. And they ask the same thing. Well, what you into? I mean, what you like to do? She asked the questions in a different style, but she asked you the same thing of what woman to become. How can I get this man? How can I fool him? The thing that I've learned is anything that's truly of God, you ain't got to run it down. You ain't got to look for it. You ain't got to fight for it. I mean, well, you got to fight in a way because you're going to have to pray. You're going to have to do, but you ain't got to physically fight for it. You ain't got to go out and beat nobody up about it. Because what God has for you, it meshes when you don't even know it meshes. I see so many people, they looking for love and don't even know what they're looking for. They don't even know what love is. The thing about God, he already have it set up for you. God is love. Once you love God, the love gonna follow God. These are things that he's shown me himself. People say, well, when you talk to God, I pray every night. We all supposed to pray. Yeah. Prayer used to be the thing that everybody did. Now it's only a last option. Oh, Lord, I'm in trouble. I better pray. No, you pray before you get in trouble. Because then you're protected beforehand. People don't get it. People don't understand it. There's a balance in life that we have to achieve. Because everything has an order. Except for most of us want to do it backwards. Like I see people do with sex. I have talked to so many of my homegirls that tell me that I don't see nothing wrong with sleeping with a man on the first night. So what does that accomplish? Well, a woman got needs. Yeah. And most dudes are greedy. So he gonna help you take care of your needs and 10 others, and then you're gonna feel bad. Well, he just did me wrong. No, you did yourself wrong. That old saying that people used to say a long time ago, it still lives on today. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? If I can milk from any cattle ranch within the next 150 miles, why would I buy a cow? And that's just an example. I don't see women as cows or whatever. I don't see men as cows. But fact remains. If a person has nothing to look forward to in a relationship with you, he already got what he wants from you. I mean, or either she ain't got nothing to look forward from you. Why should they stay? Why should they be what you would call yours? A true connection first happens in the spirit, in the soul. Connection. The heart will lie to you. I can't tell you that. The heart will lie. But the soul and spirit will not lie. When the right person is in your life will change. When you're in their arms, you feel like heaven, not because they're sexy, but because your soul is at peace. One thing that I've learned about sex is it does not take an ounce of care or love to have the best sex in the world. Sex is one of those things that the devil used to wrap you up. I've learned that the devil's greatest tool, the thing that the devil used against us the most, is the gift. He has the gift of illusion. He can make anything seem out of the lines of God. He can make anything seem great or anything that's not great. I mean, anything that's great seem bad. He can flip it around on you because he's what I call an illusionist. Except for God will stand back sometime because that is that test that God will give us. He will often give us that test. If you truly trust God, you're going to pray first. That way you're protected before you step into a mess. Most of us, we run from God and hide from God so much that we don't want him to see, oh Lord, I don't want nobody to see what I'm doing. We creeping and sneaking so much that you ain't got no connection with God. One thing about me is I don't hide anything. So many of us so busy running from our past that we can never get to our future. People say, well, my past gone. Yeah, you buried it so deep, you think it's gone, and it's still torturing you, haunting you, and messing your life up every day. The first thing you have to do before you can truly make change is you have to let go of your past. When I say let go, I don't mean throw it away, get rid of it, because one thing about memory is I've learned that the law of energy states energy is neither created nor destroyed. It simply moves from one place to another. Therefore, memory will never dissipate and go away. We may tuck it down so deep that we think it's gone, but it ain't gone. It'll come back when we least expect it. And when it comes back, it has more influence, impact, and destruction than ever before. So one thing we have to do with our past is, number one, we have to learn to accept our past. You have to learn to accept those mistakes we made. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did it. God took me there for a purpose. He took me there for a reason. He had me go through this for something. You have to first accept it. Then you have to come to terms with it. You have to say, okay, well, I did it. Ain't nothing I can do. Now I got to move past it. I got to forgive these people. I got to, love them anyway. I got to let this go. I can't let this control my life. You have to refuse to be left behind and not be able to live. Now, so many people out there like that now. You have to refuse to not to want to live your life in misery. So you have to come to terms with your past. Then you have to learn from it. Okay, what did I do wrong? Why did I go through this? What happened? I got to get this out of my mind and dealt with. What did I do wrong? You got to learn from those mistakes you made. Because if not, I've talked to a lot of women and a lot of different people that came to talk to me, and they say, you know what? Well, I keep meeting the same kind of people. You know why? It's something about you that attracted these same type of people. People say, well, there ain't nothing wrong with me. They got to accept me like I am. That's the same thing that people use to get over on you and manipulate you because you don't change. I learned to be unpredictable. You never know what I'm going to do next. But one thing about me is I ain't got no reason to lie to you. I'm going to be honest with you because I've been through so much in my life to where people lied to me, misused me, and was wrong to me. I watched my mom go through it. I watched a couple of my best friends go through it. So that's one thing I refuse to be. I refuse to be a person that has to lie to get what I want. I simply pray and get what I want. If it don't come that way, I don't need it. So we have to learn to get over our past. We have to learn to be stronger than our past. We have to be bigger than our past. I look at some people's lives when their past stands so much tall, higher than them, I can't even see them. That's just how much effect their past has on their life. I'm not saying I'm perfect because I have been bound by my past. That's how I learned to get unwound. It's so easy for us to get fooled by the wrappers some people wear. They're like gifts. They got that pretty wrap on there. Look like the biggest gift. We unwrap the junk, and by the time we get it in the house and unwrap it, we mad and disgusted. But it's ours now. Now we got to fight to get rid of it. That's what rules a lot of our past. We're fooled by our eyes. I've seen parts of the Bible where it say, we have to learn to use the eyes of our heart. And the eyes of our heart simply means the inner. That means the truth in our life. So many of us want what we want in our life so much that we don't care what we will block it out. We will make it look good. We'll fool ourselves. And I'm thinking the term of this is called cognitive dissonance. And it's crazy how we will do that to satisfy our inner greed. How we can try to do that to satisfy something that's substanceless. It ain't got no substance. A lot of us now live with nothing with substance in our life. Except for we can't see it. Because we're instead of using the eyes in our head and not the eyes of our heart. I call it being blind eyes wide open. I see too many people walking around here right now that are sexually satisfied yet emotionally and mentally broken. You could have the best sex in the world and you could still be lonely. Because the only time that you're having some type of release is between those 15 or 20 minutes that you locked up in your bedroom at night. The rest of the time, you feel riddled with worry, confusion, and any other thing that can keep your mind in dismay. There's more to life than that. And until some of us figure that out, we will simply tolerate instead of live.